Hello guys, this is episode 10 of System Design 100, and today we're going to talk about some topics. I'll just list them down. We have monitoring, and we have metrics, we have logging, and we have automation. Uh, so actually these topics are not specifically, if I say, required when you are building a very small or even medium level applications in which you do not have a lot of components. If you're dealing with just one server, two servers, one backend server, one front end servers, and very small databases, not much replicated. So this is generally, these things are not needed because this will in the end increase the complexity, and this increase the work to maintain the application. But when you're dealing with very huge applications which has a lot of components, and for example 10 servers in front end, 15 servers in back end, a lot of billions of users, and very much replicated and sharded database, then these particular topics, these particular metrics become very important to take care of our application, to follow up with the whatever issues it is going on, to mitigate any of the issues, or whatever there is going on in your application. These things become very important to check what is going on within your application. If there is any issue, how you are solving it. So these reflect the health of your application specifically. If it is a very huge application, when you're dealing with a very huge infrastructure, right, there is no way you can have a very big overview of what exactly happening with the application. What is the health? How is the application performing? So these metrics help you get a very small overview of whatever is happening within your application. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about one by one for all of these topics. So first, let us talk about monitoring. So monitoring explains itself by its name itself. So monitoring is just continuously checking the state of the components and the application that is deployed in your infrastructure. Okay. So there are two types of monitoring. One is application monitoring, and another is infrastructure monitoring. Okay. So what happens in application monitoring? Whatever kind of applications you have deployed within your servers here or your backend servers here, there are a lot of web applications, right? It's not just a single application within a particular infrastructure that you deploy. There are a lot of applications working together to make up one system. So whatever application you have deployed, you embed the elements, or you embed the particular components within the application, so that we can get the metrics of how the application is performing, what kind of and what number of requests we are getting, how much time it is taking for an application to respond to a query or to a service. So that what all of that data we get in application monitoring. Infrastructure monitoring is the data about the components which host the application. So for example, there are front end servers and back end servers. They host the application, how they are performing in themselves, right? How they are responding to application getting multiple requests at a time, how they're responding within as compared to how they're talking to other components within the system. So that would come under infrastructure monitoring. So how the components are performing is infrastructure, and how the application that is hosted inside the components is performing is called application monitoring. Okay. Now we have something called metrics. Now these two terms are a lot of people use them exchangeably. They use both monitoring and metrics for sometimes the same thing, but these two terms have a little difference in them. Metric defines what kind of indicators are there. Like we have indicators within particular systems. Okay, so we have a server. Server is the computer, as I've told you. Server has some level of CPU, some level of memory, some storage. So metrics define like what is the capacity, that is being used against what is available. So we can understand, right, for a particular time, or for a particular period of time, how much of the resources are being used, and what is the number of requests that are coming in. So then generally it quantifies, we get a quantified data of the resource being used in metrics specifically. Okay. Monitoring included both, all what exactly is happening, kind of a trail of what is happening, including something called, if I say, it's called activity log and the error logs. Everything is covered under monitoring. Metrics covers capacity, what is being used, and what is free, how much capacity is being utilized. So metrics cover those parts. Okay. Now third is logging. Okay. Now logging is storing the data that is coming from both of these parts. Okay. So we have something called a centralized log store. In a lot of cloud platforms it is available with different names. It is kind of a database itself, but it is specifically designed to store logs itself. So whatever data is coming from monitoring and metrics is stored in a database. It's called logging. So we have a store for a very long time, right? For example, we want to store the monitoring and metrics data for application for a month, and there happens some issue with their application, some performance bottleneck or some kind of throttling issue. So we can just simply go to this particular database. We can filter out the logs depending upon the date and time the issue started happening, and we can find out like what was the issue, when it started and when it ended, what components were involved in the issue. So all of the data are stored in this particular database. Uh, Third is automation. Now, automation is not generally related to all these three. Automation is a little difficult or little different topic. Not very difficult, not difficult. Different topic. What automation again? It is defined in its name itself. So there are two type of automation that we see. One is DevOps based automation. Okay. This is not part of this actually, because that DevOps is a topic in itself. It's a totally different topic. In which we automate the integration, okay, which we called continuous integration at CI, and we automate the deployment, which we call continuous deployment, and we automate a lot of things. Testing we can automate, automation testing we can implement. We use agile and to just to create sprints, so that we can define what kind of feature will go into application in a certain level of time. So it's a different topic. It's not part of that. Specifically, the automation related to this is called process automation. Okay, so in software engineering there is something called something called incident management, in which whenever there is some issue encountered, when the application is live or is being used by users. So there is definitely some users might face some issue, or even some issue occur by themselves, or something stops working. So system should be able to detect that by itself and automatically create something called an incident ticket, which will be a notification or a alert that will be sent to the particular team that is responsible for that particular component. So this automation will help us not to we don't have to sit there and monitor the application all of the time. This automation can automatically detect any issues that occurs in a particular system at a particular level of time, and automatically create some incident or problem. If that incident is something related to it's not related to any non-component problem. It's particularly some issue in a server. So this incident ticket can be converted into problem ticket. And if we require any change to solve this problem, this can be converted into a change ticket. So it's a whole process. It's part of DevOps and process setup only, but yeah, it's a totally different process. Okay, so these four parts I think this is all we can discuss about these four parts. Now these 4 points are not functionally required for a system to work, but these are very important when you're dealing with very huge systems, right? A very small issue, it could be a very small issue can create a very big ruckus in your system, okay? Because finding that particular issue, where it belongs, where it exists in a very huge system is very difficult. So all of these processes can make it very easy for you to detect issues, diagnose them, scoping the issues, where exactly the issue exists, and creating knowledge database for knowledge ticket for that, so that the particular responsible team who is working on this particular component can understand what is the issue, and they can similarly create a change or can fix that issue. Okay, so yeah, I think this is fine. There isn't much to cover in this particular topic, right? Thank you very much.